The kingdom of Eldara had flourished for centuries, led by a wise and noble king, King Amaran. Under his leadership, the people prospered, crops thrived, and the skies were clear. Peace reigned, and Eldara was a symbol of unity and strength in the region. But as the harvest season approached, a strange disease began to sweep through the kingdom. It started with the elderly, but soon the young, strong, and healthy began to fall ill too. The disease was slow at first. People would wake up with fevers and fatigue, and within days, strange boils erupted on their skin. Their bodies would twist with pain, and soon after, they would perish. Within weeks, hundreds and thousands were dead, and the healers and doctors across Endara were baffled. No medicine or potion could stem the tide of death. Panic gripped the kingdom as it became clear that no one was immune. Children, parents, and even soldiers began succumbing to the strong plague. The king summoned the finest healers from the neighboring realms, but none could offer a cure. They are herbalists, alchemists, and doctors worked day and night, but their efforts were in vain. Fear and despair grew with Eldara's walls. The once thriving kingdom was now on the brink of collapse. The king, feeling the weight of his people's suffering, sought counsel in the palace's grand hall. His advisors spoke in whispers, suggesting strange rituals or the sacrifice of animals, but none seemed plausible. The king's heart grew heavy with hopelessness. In the midst of their sorrow, a mysterious visitor arrived, a prophet from the hills, known only as Marek, had heard the cries of the kingdom and traveled far to bring a message. His appearance was striking, cloaked in a deep crimson robe, his face partially hidden beneath a hood, but his voice was commanding. The sickness that plagues you people is not born of this world, Marek announced, his voice echoing through the hall. It is a curse, brought about by the forgotten spirits of the White Forest. The only way to break it is through a sacred pilgrimage. The king leaned forward, desperate for any solution. What must we do, prophet? My people are dying, and I have no time to waste. Marek's gaze was unflinching. You must send 7 pure souls, virgins, into the White Forest. There, they will find a hidden well. Only from that well can the cure be drawn. But the journey is treacherous, and not all will return. A hush fell over the court. The White Forest was a place of legend, fear from its mystical powers, and its reputation for claiming the lives of any who ventured too deep. But the king had no choice. He was desperate. The disease was spreading rapidly, and if the curse was not broken soon, there would be no kingdom left to save. You have a fortnight to begin the journey, Marek warned, or all will be lost. With Marek's world haunting him, the king ordered that the 7 purest young women in the kingdom be chosen. Families grieved as they parted with their daughters, but they understood the gravity of the situation. The fate of Eldara rested on their shoulders. The chosen virgins were Leona, Elara, Kira, Solana, Naia, Freya, and the youngest, Maia. They were brave, but fear was evident in their eyes as they gathered at the edge of the white forest. Accompanied by 2 trusted knights who would not venture beyond the forest's entrance, they set off on their perilous journey. The moment they entered the forest, the air grew cold, and an eerie silence enveloped them. Shadows danced in the corners of their vision, and strange whispers filled the air. Each step seemed to pull them deeper into the otherworldly realm where time felt warped. The first to fall was Kira. As they walked through a dense fog, a river appeared before them. Kira, feeling an overwhelming thirst, bent to drink from its shimmering waters despite warning from the others. The moment her lips touched the liquid, her body froze. In an instant, she turned to a stone. The remaining 6 pressed on, but the forest grew darker and more hostile. Strange creatures lurked in the shadows, their glowing eyes watching their every move. As night fell, they made camp, but as they slept, Freya disappeared. All of a sudden, they found her the next morning, drowned in a pool of black water, her body floating lifelessly. The forest had claimed her. The group was now 5. Their resolve wavered, but they knew turning back would mean a certain death for their kingdom. As they continued, they encountered a maze of thorny vines. Solana, always the most adventurous, tried to carve a path through, but the vines were alive and they ensured her, pulling her into their deadly embrace. Her screams echoed through the trees, but by the time the other reached her, it was too late. Despair was setting in, and the remaining 4 were terrified, but they pressed on, knowing they had no choice. As they neared the center of the forest, they came across a great chasm. There was no way around it, and they had to cross a narrow bridge made of twisted roots. Naia, unsteady and paralyzed by fear, stumbled and fell into the abyss below, her screams fading into the darkness. Now, only 3 remained: Leona, Elara, and Maia. They were close to the well, but the forest had one last trial for them. As they approached a clearing, they encountered a beautiful glowing tree. Elara, mesmerized by its beauty, reached out to touch it, despite Leona's protests and warnings. The moment her fingers brushed the bark, she vanished in a burst of light, her body reduced to ash. Leona and Maia pressed on, tears in their eyes, their hearts heavy with the loss of their companions. Finally, they reached the well. It was water shimmered with an otherworldly glow. Leona, the eldest, leaned in to draw the water, but as she did, a serpent-like creature emerged, striking her down with one swift bite. Her body collapsed, lifeless, beside the well. Maia, now the only survivor, trembled as she approached the well. She knew the weight of the kingdom rested on her shoulders. With trembling hands, she filled the flask they had bought and began the long journey back to Endara. The forest was not done with her, but Maya's spirit remained unbroken. She faced its challenges with steely resolve, narrowly escaping traps and creatures that would have claimed her life. 2 days later, bruised, battered, and exhausted, she emerged from the forest. The kingdom rejoiced upon her return, though the joy was bittersweet. Maya presented the king with the water from the well, and soon after the plague began to lift. Eldara was saved, but the sacrifice of the 6 brave women who had perished weighed heavily on the king's heart. As the disease faded, the king decreed that a monument be built in the center of Eldara to honor the fallen virgins. Their names were etched in a stone, and their story became legend, a tale of sacrifice, bravery, and the mysterious power of the white forest. Maya, though celebrated as a hero, never spoke of what she had endured in the forest. The horrors she had witnessed haunted her dreams. The weight of the lives lost in the pursuit of the cure would remain with her forever. The moral lesson of the story is that true courage involves not just personal bravery, but the willingness to face the unknown for the greater good, even when the cost is high. Leadership also demands difficult decisions in times of crisis, and the burden of responsibility for those sacrifices weighs heavily on those who remain. The tale serves as a reminder that while solutions to great problems may exist, they often come with deep and lasting consequences, and the scars of those sacrifices endure even after the victory is won. If you've liked this story, please share it with your family and friends, and please subscribe for more enchanting and captivating stories.